Imagine being laughed at by your entire school. You're standing there, helpless, in the middle of the stadium, and all you can hear is a sharp ringing sound in your ears that kind of make you feel completely isolated. You look around and see your own friends mocking you. At that moment, you feel like you have nothing left. You are just a piece of stone, unable to react. That was the situation I faced in my class 9th. So hello everyone, Zerak this side, and today I am going to share a story from my class 9th. I had always been a very nerdy kid throughout most of my childhood. The kind of a person who was always buried in books and had almost no social life, and honestly felt like someone nobody really cared about. However, things started changing when I entered my class 9th. Class 9th was a huge turning point for me. Not just academically, because studies were becoming harder, but also socially in terms of extracurricular activities. I never imagined that I would become the house captain of my school. For many people, it might not sound like a big achievement, but for me, at that time, it felt like a dream come true. In our school, house captains were highly respected, and for someone like me who had no sports background, becoming the captain of one of the houses in our school was something I can be extremely proud of. Now, you might wonder, how did someone with no sports profile become a captain? Well, that is where the story gets interesting. Although I was terrible at sports and was quite overweight, I was good at things like vocabulary, declamations, debates, and other activities. Based on that, I was selected for the captain's position because at the end of the day, the captain was supposed to be someone active in school activities, whether it was sports, academics, or cultural events. But our school had a quite unique system. We had elections for our captains. On the day of our voting, my opponent, let's call him Faraz, and I both gave our speeches to convince students to vote for us. The voting happened and I lost badly. Out of 250 votes, I received only 3. And those 3 votes came from my closest friends. The rest went to Faraz. But the interesting part is, I still became the captain. Why? Because Faraz was not regular to school and was involved in some problems outside school. A teacher noticed this, and before the captain badges were officially given, his selection was cancelled. Since I was the only other candidate, I was given the badge. But honestly, nobody was happy about it. Not the students, not even the teachers. Only my friends and I were happy. Still, I accepted the responsibility and continued. But soon I realized something painful. My team was not really my team. They still followed Faraz's words. They never missed an opportunity to mock me. Whenever our performance dropped even slightly, I became the person everyone blamed. Despite that, our house was performing well in most activities. But my biggest goal was to win the annual sports day, because winning the sports day was considered one of the greatest achievements in our school. We trained hard, really hard. I personally selected athletes for different events. I also want to give a credit to my friend, let's call him Daksh. He was from the same house I was and was a very good athlete, especially in running. He helped me manage things I had very little experience in sports. Slowly, things became harder. Managing studies, responsibilities, and competitions were exhausting. But I kept going. Finally, the sports day arrived, the day I have been waiting for an entire year. I was ready and my team was prepared, but things didn't go according to our plan. One after another, we started losing events. And then came the event we had the most confidence in, the relay race. It was the deciding event of the entire sports day, but we lost it, and lost it miserably. And the reason was a small mistake from one of my athletes. I saw the disappointment and anger in everyone's eyes. People started blaming him, but I tried to support him because at the end of the day, he was still a human being who had made a mistake. And I know how terrible it looks when the team blames you. But things became worse. For some reason, all the blame started coming towards me for some reason. And I won't complain because I was the captain and a captain has to take responsibility. But what hurt me the most was the way it happened. It wasn't just criticism in private, it was happening in front of thousands of students. And the worst part? My own teammates were cheering for our own house to lose. At that moment, I completely broke down. I became emotionally numb and couldn't process anything around me. Finally, our team lost. We came fourth, and there were only 4 groups competing. The house I represented, the yellow house, had lost after years of winning. For me, it was a huge moment, not because of the position, but because I felt like I had failed the people who trusted me.